Okay. So last time we wrote the drive method, we wrote the relocate method. We saw that because each drive method is in fact its own copy of the template drive method from class, we saw that we had to use a while true loop out here so that we call every individual drive method and every individual relocate method as opposed to putting them in drive or relocate. But we saw that for relocate, since we only want to relocate under certain conditions, it was perfectly okay to put an if statement in the relocate method because this is only going to run once. So right now, we have this class car. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a class to represent the player. So I'm just going to write class player. And this player is also going to be a turtle. So I'm going to inherit from turtle like that. And for any class, I always know I'm going to have the function init, the constructor, initialize, like that. And then, well, let's think about what the player is going to do. Maybe I always want to use a particular GIF and start at a particular position. So my code for the player is actually, it's going to be pretty close to this. But first thing I need to do is I need to create the turtle. So super.init. And then I want to know what shape is the player going to be. And I want to know where is the player going to start. So self.shape, self.pen up. Turtle holds the pen, bring the pen up, self.goTo, so we're not going to draw anything. X, Y. All right. And I think that's pretty similar. Only difference is I didn't add this set heading because I haven't seen that we need it yet. We might add a set heading later, just depending. But for now, this is perfectly okay. And remember, this is just a template. We're not actually running any of this code until we create a new object from player. So we have to go down to our driver code where we're actually going to consider where the new object comes from. So we sort of see this as two parts. One is we're creating all the objects, and one is we're calling all the methods. So I think that sequentially, we probably want to create the player in this first half of the code. So I'm going to say player equals player, like that. I'm going to give it a shape. I'll just give it one.gif. And I'll put it at 0, 0. And so if I save this, I made a change to the code. Now I'm going to run my file and see what happens. Oh, there's me. And so you can't see it, but I'm actually pressing the WASD keys and nothing's happening. But we want the car to move back and forth or side to side when we press the A and D keys. So we should actually add that next. And so inside the player class, inside the code that's running, we want to do what's called key binding. So if you don't remember, we're getting the screen object inside self. And then we're going to say on key press. And if you look up in the tooltip here, there's two arguments that we need to give to on key press. One is a function that we're going to bind to a key, and the other is the key that's bound to the function. So I'll make some functions. Go right. If you ever make a function and you don't know what's going to go inside it, but you know you need that function, you can use this keyword pass. And what this says is that I don't quite know what I'm going to put in here right now, so just let me pass on it for now. And then you can use the function. So I'm inside init with the self.in key press. So in order to get another thing inside this class player, I can use the variable self.go right. And there's no parentheses because I'm not calling go right. I'm saying this function go right is going to be bound to a particular key press. In this case, it's going to be the D key. And when the D key is pressed, only then will on key press take this function, add on the parentheses, and call go right. So just to prove that, I can type print right. And I guess I could also do the same for left. Print left. And then this on key press. For left, it's going to be the same deal, except instead of the D key, we want the A key. There we go. And then we actually have to listen, self.screen.listen for key presses. And now if we run this, let's see what happens. Well, I'm not moving the car yet, but you can see I'm pressing the right key, pressing the left key, going back and forth. It is running those functions that print out to the console. So let's make one more addition so the car action moves. And here is probably where we want to use this the set heading, right? Because initially cars are facing this way. And then if we're going to go right, we want to make sure that the heading is 0. So point it this way, and then we'll go forward. Likewise, if we're going to go left, 0, 90, 180. So we're going to make sure the heading is 180, and then we'll go forward. And so let's run that. And now we can go back and forth. It's interesting that it looks like if I press the keys, they kind of interfere with the relocate. Interesting. I wonder if there's another way you can do this. I wonder if it'll have less interference. And that is you can use the go to. So forward moves us forward 10 whatever direction. To go left and go right, with go to, we would just be modifying a coordinate. So go to is going to take us to whatever we put for the X and Y positions. So here we have the original X core and then the original Y core. So it's just going to take us to where we start. But if we want to go right, we can add 10 to the X core. So it's going to go over like that. And then if we want to go left, we can subtract 10 from the X coordinate. So we go over like that. I wonder if that is any more efficient. I don't know. I'm trying something to learn. So I'm going to run the code. And it does look like that actually stops the issue we were having where it would lag the cars. So that's good to know. So it looks like this is actually a better way to do it, to use the go to instead of using forward. And so in this video, we added pretty much most of the player class. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to add the collision detection. I'll just clean up these passes. And once you have the collision detection down, you're pretty much done with Crash. And obviously, this is a relatively bare bones example. We'll talk about some optimizations and some niceties you can add. at the end of the next video. So good luck, and here we go.